Hello quý vị khán thính giả của William Trust Media Network. Nam Quang hiện giờ là đang có mặt ở văn phòng của Đảng Cộng Hòa, văn phòng của Đảng Cộng Hòa toàn quốc, quý vị, ở ngay góc đường mặt Faden và đường Brookhurst để mà tường trình một cái sự kiện cũng rất là lớn, là ông thượng nghị sĩ liên bang Rick Scott đã chuẩn bị xuất hiện ở đây để mà vận động ủng hộ cho dân biểu liên bang Michelle Steele, thưa quý vị. Nãy giờ chúng ta đã chờ đâu khoảng chừng đâu là nửa tiếng đồng hồ rồi, thì đáng lẽ là ông phải xuất hiện ở đây lúc 11:15, nhưng mà ông có trễ hẹn một chút xíu. Thì bây giờ để quý vị, Nam Quang sẽ quay cái camera để cho quý vị coi cái sự kiện như thế nào, quý vị nha. Vâng, thưa quý vị, đó là toàn bộ cái khán phòng hiện giờ.
Back into the room so that everybody has a chance to see our speakers. That'd be great. Welcome to the Republican National Committee's Asian Pacific American Community Center. I am so proud that this center is in Orange County because it shows our engagement with the Asian.
Cái người mở đầu chương trình đang mở lời đón chào mọi người thôi, quý khách.
We're engaged, we're integrated in the community, and it's a community that actually understands and promotes American values. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to be your chairman of the Republican Party of Orange County and to be in this center today. I want to do a little shout out, thank you to our mayor in Westminster and all our majority city council, Republican majority city council in Westminster, where this headquarters We are here today to talk about amazing leadership for our community. We have, from the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the Senator from Florida, Rick Scott. Our Congresswoman from this district, the 48th District, soon to be the 45th District, Michelle Steele. Our Congresswoman from the 39th District, soon to be the 40th District, Young Kim. And our Assemblywoman right from this area who has been a leader in our efforts in the Asian American community from the 72nd District, soon to be our Senator from the 36th, Janet Nguyen. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have Senator Nguyen, or Senator to be Nguyen to be, come up and just say a few words about this community.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first want to ask you to give a big applause to our chairman who has led the way in Orange County and making sure that we also have an RNC office here in Little Saigon. In this coming election, this is it. The hotbed of Orange County politics is this district here and also South County. This is it. We need to turn back Orange County. And I'm so excited, and I want to thank you and welcome our U.S. Senator Rick Scott, who's here today. Your presence here tells us nationally that Orange County matters. Little Saigon matters. We will make Orange County red again. So I'm very excited, and I just want to thank all the folks here today. You not only donate, but you donate either financially or also your time. We need to make sure that every one of you here spends the time to help each of the candidates, including myself, our two congresswomen as well in this area in Orange County, because we can't do it without you. And so for you being here today means a great deal to all of us. So please give yourself a big round of applause. So I'm going to hand it over, but before I do that, are we going to win this year? Yes. Yes. Orange County? Yes. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Nguyen. You are going to be our senator. We have lots of candidates that are here today. I just want to give a quick shout out. I think Emily Hibbert is here from the 70th. Sue Yu from the 67th. Do we have Dr. Kimberly Ho? Is she here? And Trita, we already announced earlier. And then Ted Bowie, is he here? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, those are all the candidates in this area that are going to be working out of this community center. And I am so proud that this community came out so strongly in 2020 for our Congresswoman, Michelle Steele. She probably would not have won but for this community, and she stayed loyal to this community, and she will be the Congresswoman for this community in the 45th Congressional District. I give you Michelle Steele.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you, Senator, for coming out to my district this morning here. And I'm very, very grateful because my district is the most targeted district in the whole country right now, and it's D+5. But I have a little good news though, because out of that we have 32% of voters are Asian Americans, and I won 67% of Vietnamese American votes in 2020, and I doubled the number. And then I have more than 10 times of Korean Americans. So out of that 32%, 71% are Korean Americans and Vietnamese Americans. So everything starts from here. And I'm just so grateful to Orange County Republican Party, and I'm grateful to our chairwoman, Jessica Patterson, and our RNC chair, McDaniel, that putting this community center together. This is not just that, we are coming here to volunteer for the election, but this place that, what's happening, we are doing dancing lessons, and we are actually sharing our food, and you have to come every day. If you miss any Vietnamese food, come every day because we have Vietnamese food always available in this site. So this is the most important place, and you know what, this is my current district, and 45th district, same thing, that's still going in here. So this is the most important district in inside of my district. This is the most important city for my next election cycle. We really have to win, and I know I need your help. I know most of these people are actually my volunteers. Begin with, right, Janet? You have to agree that we've been working together. So I know what you guys are doing, but we have to put twice as much as what we've been put. Amy, you are the best always. But you know what? These people, I can name everybody that they've been helping us every day. And we've been walking since January, and we've been making calls since January, and we've been delivering our yard signs since January. Name it. You guys are working so hard, and I'm working hard. And we raised about $3.2 million last year. We need almost over $6 million. Young totally agree. My election was over $30 million raise last election cycle. So I am doing whatever I can, and I am working hard. Even Nancy Pelosi put us in DC last month, 3.5 weeks out of a whole month. We still raising, and we still coming back every week to the district. So I was flying out one time, and one of the flight attendants said, "You're doing a great job. How often you fly?" I told her my schedule. She said, "I fly more than she does." So that's the way it is. And you know what? We all gonna win. That's why you are here. That's why senators are here to, show you the support, and show me the support, and show us the support. And our chairman's been doing a great job in Orange County. We have a great leadership. We have great volunteers. We have great interns. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In November, we're gonna take it back. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Our next Congresswoman, her district may have moved a little bit east, but she has not moved away from us. Young Kim has been just a stalwart for us. She won in an incredibly Democrat-oriented district that had Los Angeles County in it, San Bernardino County, Orange County. Her district is much more favorable now. but she has great communities that she's represented before between Yorba Linda and Chino Hills. She needs all of our support because the Democrat opponent has already raised a couple of $1 million, and he's willing to put money of his own into the race. We need to make sure that we send young Kim back to Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, our Congresswoman, young Kim.
Thank you, Chairman Gray, for your leadership, leading our Orange County in, Republican Party to victory at every election cycle. And we couldn't do this without your leadership and everyone who's in this room. We are looking at another election cycle. I can't believe we are just, Michelle and I were elected and we thought we're just getting started. But we're already in the middle of a second re-election efforts, but we are ready. As mentioned by Chairman, in 2020, when I won in a district that represents 3 counties, LA, San Bernardino County, and Orange counties. This is where Joe Biden won by 10 percentage points, yet we prevailed. In 2022, my district looks a little bit better, but Nancy Pelosi and the DCCCs are already targeting us. Actually, they started targeting us second month, right? February in 2021 when we started working. They already put advertisements in our districts targeting both Michelle and I. That means they're scared of us because we were 2 of the 4 Republicans that flipped districts that were held by Democrats. We're not going to lose these again. I am honored to serve as a vice chair of the NRCC's recruitment committee. In that capacity, I've been meeting with dynamic candidates around the country, making sure that we find a dynamic candidate to run against Democrats in every seat occupied by Democrats. I use my story, I use my experience to encourage those who are on the fence, who are on the edge. I can't do this. I'm a mom. I've never worked in my life before. I don't know if I got fire in my belly. Well, that's when the NRCC leadership calls me and says, young Kim, we have a candidate you need to go talk to. I go talk to them, try to encourage them. I mostly try to encourage them that it takes guts to go after them. Because again, you are here volunteering your time, energy, even resources to help us to win our districts. But again, it takes fire in your belly to really go after people. Talk to them about $2,900. It's a maximum that you can get from an individual. If somebody gives you $100, thank them. But it's gonna take 10 more phone calls to get them to maximize. That's what I talk to them about. Invest in digital fundraising. I mean, this is something I can talk with credibility because every quarter I raise over $1 million, and we have already raised over $4 million by the time 2021 came around. We're raising over $1 million this cycle, which will be reported. So I can talk to candidates. You can do this if I can do this. You got a story. You're a minority, you're a female, you're a veteran. You come from all different communities. This is what America is looking for, that leadership. So if I can encourage them using my story, we can definitely win. 31,751 votes is what we needed to take back the House in 2020. We couldn't do it, we're gonna do it now. So not we just win the 6 back, but in my capacity, I'll do everything I can to flip more seats. So we win big and take back the House. And we are ready to lead and govern in November. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, elections are all about winning for the candidate. But the candidate doesn't win on their own. It is a team sport. It takes all of you as volunteers. It takes donors because that money is necessary to have those flyers or the TV ads. Or the telephone calls. And it also takes the voters. The voters are the most critical, important part of the team. They actually have to come out and vote. We are so excited today. I mean, there's a couple other team members that I see that Council Member Ted Bowie just arrived. So he's running for Assembly as well. I want to talk about Mario O'Hara and the California Republican Party. They have been just such an incredible team for us. He's here representing the board of the CRP today. They help fund this headquarters as well. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to see Senator Rick Scott. Senator Scott is the chairman of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, and you might say, well, we're talking about congressional races here in Orange County. We're talking about assembly and Senate races. Why is a senator here? Well, because he understands it is a team sport. We all push together on all of these races, and it works its way all the way up the ticket. He understands leadership. He's got an 11-point plan that says what Republicans are about, not just what we're against. I love that type of leadership. I love that it is here when it's not a Senate seat that we're working on. He's here for all of our candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Rick Scott.
First, it's great to be here. You have a beautiful state. I'm very appreciative that your politicians have messed it up while I was governor. When I used to come here as governor and I would try to recruit companies, and Jerry Brown would immediately attack me, which was great because then I just got more press. There's not probably a more beautiful place to live than Southern California. And so it's just unfortunate for you that you've got people like Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom that have messed up your state.
Yeah.
But the world's changing. We can win these elections. And it's really what you guys do every day. You know, I talk to, you know, like your congresswoman, we talk to candidates every day about why they should run. And it's about getting votes out. That's how you win. We got to all raise our money. That's really what you do every day. My last election, I had to get 4.3 million votes. And I won by 57,000 votes. And the Democrats illegally, okay, tried to count 95,000 ballots after election night. We had 1,000 lawyers, 7,000 volunteers, and that's why we won in the recounts. I remember I've been blessed. I got married at a young age. I have grandchildren. My 7-year-old grandson said, "Grandpa, am I going to be on television tonight?" I said, "I want all my friends to see me." And I said, "August, whatever happens tonight, you're going to be on television." So cute. The next week, I explained the recounts to him, and he said, "Grandpa, I told all my friends you won." I said, "Me too." But we have to fight for these. It's a fight, and it's a fight about your future, and your kids' future, and your parents' future, and your grandkids' future. And if we don't, this is it. This is all it's about. Each of ours version of the American dream, and we all have different versions of the American dream. We all come from different backgrounds, many of us from other countries, but we have the chance to live the American dream if we win these elections. The way the House and the Senate work is whoever is in charge, so right now Nancy Pelosi decides 100% what they vote on in the House. They don't get a vote. You can vote on stuff that you don't want to vote on, but you might have the best idea, you'll never get a vote. In the Senate, Chuck Schumer controls the Senate. I get no votes. I can have the best bill in the world. Chuck Schumer by himself says we're not going to vote on it. We don't have to vote on it. That's why we have to get the majority. We have to get the majority in the House. We have to get the majority in the Senate. Then we have to position ourselves to win in 24 in the White House. Then we get to govern. And as Fred said, I think we ought to have a plan of what we're going to run on. Doesn't have to be my plan, but let's get something done. I think we're going to get the House and the Senate back. Joe Biden's numbers are horrible. Yeah. I mean, he's like a ham sandwich. He just sits there. I mean, think about it. Nothing on border security. Nothing on getting gas prices down. I mean, everything he's done on Ukraine is because we have forced him to do it. I mean, he didn't want to stop buying Russian oil. He still not sanctioned everybody that he should be sanctioned. It's only because we put pressure on him. So we can win all these seats if we hustle. My job is, every 2 years you have somebody that runs the Senate committee. So I run the National Republican Senatorial Committee. We have 21 Republican senators up, they only have 14. So we've got to defend 21 seats, 5 of them are 6 of them are open seats. We have 15 incumbents. And then we got to take at least one of theirs. We're going to. And the reason is we have great candidates. As Young Kim said, we got to recruit great people. And we have. We have great candidates running, we're raising our money. And we're running good races. So if we do that, we're going to get both the House and the Senate back. And by the way, we will win the Senate because you help people win House races, because you get the vote out. Ron Johnson's a senator from Wisconsin. He's won in a hard state twice. And the reason he won is because of like Janet's seats. They had a Republican run in every seat. he got the exact same number of votes as all of the House and the Senate votes. That's how it works. Same as works for the Senate. We're gonna do well if your congresswomen do well. And eventually, we're gonna win in California. Now, no one thinks you can do it, but every poll I got in, I'd never run for office before in 2010, every poll said I would lose. I've never had a poll said I would win. And we won because we got our votes out. In Florida, you have early voting, you have absentee ballots, and you can vote election day. We got our votes out, and that's what you guys do. The first thing I asked a candidate when they said they're gonna run, I said, how many votes do you need? I mean, I'm a business guy. I build businesses. What do you want to do? I want to make my numbers. So we figured out we needed 4.3 million votes. We got them, and that's how you're going to win these races. So thank you for what you're doing. I do have today an opportunity to give a couple of awards. I'm a business guy. I like to give awards. I think you ought to highlight success, and so. When I became, one thing is business, in business you can give awards, right? As governor, I could create any award I wanted. I created more awards. I should have given one to Jerry Brown. I would send Jerry Brown notes thanking him for all the businesses that came to Florida. He raised their taxes, he made it difficult to do business, so he was great for me. But in this job, in the Senate you don't get to create awards by yourself. But in the senatorial committee, do whatever I want in that regard. So I created a new award last year. I took over last January. It's called the Champion for Freedom Award, and it's for individuals that are fighting for the American dream. And so today I want to give one to each of your two congresswomen for their fight. Because here's what you learn up there. When you go up there, you can commit anything you want. And people do it all the time. Oh, I'm going to be the best fighter against taxes, or I'm the best fighter against regulation. And you get up there, that's a lot of work. But Young Kim and Michelle Steele, they're fighters. They're fighters for the dream of this country. And the dream of this country is not higher taxes, more regulation, more government. It's for limited government, so we get to do what we want. So if you two would come up, we've got they're really nice. Yeah, they're really nice.
This was totally.
It's a surprise, by the way.
And you're the first two congresswomen or men that have received it. I've given out about 14 now, Hilda.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations and thank you for what you're doing. I know you're going to win because of all the people in this room. Thank you for what you're doing to make sure we have wonderful people represent all of our American dreams in Washington, D.C. Thank you. I know, that's how you win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all what you do every day.
Sorry.
That's okay. Happen every time.
I'm sorry.
Okay, great. Well, those are your boxes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little treat because, we're all about politics, but politics drives policy, right? That's the reason we get people elected, is because it drives policy. It affects everybody in the community and their lives. And so if I could have, we've got a couple of seats here. If I could have Congresswoman Kim, Senator Scott, and Congresswoman Steele, wherever she meandered out to, come on and sit over here. We've got a couple of policy questions, and I want to just have all of you hear how good they are on policy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that inflation is really incredible. Right now, we even have empty shelves in our grocery stores. People can't even get baby formula. There are ships that are still sitting idle off of Long Beach and Los Angeles. With the supply chain crisis, how do we solve the problem? And and we'll have even Assemblywoman Nguyen chime in a little bit. So I'll just have the microphone go down the row. And how do we solve the supply chain issue?
First of all, we need to work on this ASAP. One of the things that I did was introduce or co-sponsor the original Ocean Shipping Reform Act, we have shortage of trucks that can go in and out of our ports, which is the St. Pedro Port Complex made up of Port of LA, Long Beach, and this is where we get about, 40% of our goods imported. Now, unfairly, those importers are being charged higher price to unload those supplies in the containers on the ships that are on the water because of the supply chain crisis. We need to work on those so that our importers are not adversely affected by the demurrage charge and so forth. This is something that I know my colleague Michelle Steele is championing on as she sits on the Transportation Committee. But I wanted to mention that we are fighting for those. Inflation, obviously, we're going to talk about that too. It's something that we need to get a handle on. We have also a legislation, and I can talk about that when the question comes. Thanks.
Well, we got to get different people elected is what we have to do. I was governor of Florida. We had 4 hurricanes. Before I was governor, every hurricane, major hurricane, we ran out of gas. Every one. Because we couldn't get the gas into the system. So what we did was we got everybody on the phone twice a day, everybody in the industry, and we said, what do you need? We waived every regulation that we needed to. We talked to President Trump. He waived federal regulations. One of the issues we had was as an example, is we were having trouble getting the trucks from the terminals to the gas station. So we gave them escorts for highway patrol. In a hurricane, the state, with federal funding, we pay for all the gas for all the first responders. So we just brought in trucks and met them all at rest areas. So we stopped, they didn't go to gas stations anymore and clog that up. We didn't run out of gas. We just kept solving little problems, problem after problem. That's what the problem is at the federal government right now. They're not solving any problems. Buttigieg, I've held, one thing you can do in the Senate, there's a lot of procedural things, more so than in the House. I can force votes on nominations to go to the floor, which takes about a week. Or they can do it quickly. I've held up all the nominations until Buttigieg, Raimondo, Secretary of Commerce come and testify. They won't come testify because they have not done anything, nothing. They don't try to solve any problem. And by the way, what they're doing is causing your costs to go up. It's just causing more inflation. I was talking to one company just in one port is paying $1 million a day fines to get their trucks in. And it's because the port won't work with them. So that's all going to get passed on to the consumer, and we're going to get more and more inflation. So we got to get people that can go fix things, and we just don't have it right now at the federal level.
So it just came out on the newspaper that trucking is the problem in California. Half of the trucking owners are independent truckers, and when those trucks been built before 2010, then it's not meeting environmental standard in California, so they cannot really bring it in. So we really have a problem with trucking. So I sent a letter out to EPA, that Environmental Protection Agency, and I sent a letter out to Governor Newsom to declare the state of emergency so we can just bring those truckers in. I didn't get any answers. And I introduced 3 bills in November. Finally, I got one bill passed under Coast Guard bill. It was just like you went out to the tour and you saw there's about 12 state agencies are involved with those port issue in LA and Long Beach. They're together, and none of them were communicating. So this one bill out of 3 passed means that these 12 agencies are working together, and within 90 days they have to really bring this solution. So that just passed, so hopefully that it's gonna work it out. And you know what, I'm gonna get involved with that until it really passes. California itself, that these liberal policy is the problem that we really have to stop. And I thought we already hit the bottom last year, but recall election, we were not successful. So you know what, hopefully that we all gonna go out and let California constituents to know we are going totally wrong direction. We have to fire Governor Newsom and fire all these assembly and state senators. That's the bottom line, and we have to bring the good candidates back in.
Congresswoman Steele is correct. AB 5 took down California's economy. All the truckers are independent contractors. They can't work in California because of AB5. Remember, the assemblyman from this area, a Republican, voted with the Democrats. That's why I'm in this seat, because we had to take him out of office. We don't allow Republicans to go to Sacramento to be part of the Democratic stronghold. We don't need any more. The truckers can't work, and they have to actually buy new trucks. There's so many trucks, hundreds and thousands of trucks sitting in San Bernardino lots that cannot be driven in California anymore because of the new laws that Californians have made. The supermajority party in California needs to go. We need to take back California. In 2014, if you remember, when I won the state Senate seat in this area, we lost it for 16 years. I'm the only Republican in this area who continuously win Democratic seats for the last 20 years. When I was there in 2014, that was the 2/3 votes of the state Senate. For 2 years, no taxes and fees were imposed on Californians at all in those 2 years. We held that vote. It's our time to take back the Senate seat. It's our time to keep my assembly seat Republican as well, because we need more good Republicans, those who make sure that the economy would keep moving for Californians. And I'm asking you again, as you're here, and that's what's going to do, is we need to remove the supermajority one-party rule of California.
Thanks, and I've been told by the Senator's advance staff that we have time for only one more question instead of two. So I'm going to jump to the next one. We are all watching on television the horrific things that have happened in the Ukraine. And I think the world is finally starting to hold Russia and its tyrannical government accountable to some extent. The problem that I think a lot of us worry about is the license that what Putin is doing is giving to China, and what could happen to Taiwan. We know what's happened to the Uyghurs. We've seen the WHO. How do we hold China, which probably is going to be our bigger economic and military adversary for the next 100 years? How do we hold them accountable? We'll start with you, Assemblywoman Nguyen, and work down the line.
I think this is more for the federal folks. I'm going to move it on to the federal folks and let them respond to this one.
China is very dangerous, and China attacked Taiwan. It's going to go to Hong Kong, and it's South Korea. Finally, they got elected conservative president that who is swearing in May, and then it goes to that our defense parameter is going to be changed to Japan, and Japan is in danger, and then Philippines. We really have to go after China for sanctions. We really have to clear their, ask for their demand, for their accountability and transparency, because that's not what we are seeing. And another thing is Taiwan's been asking weapons, like what Ukraine's been doing. We're gonna protect our own country. They wanna buy the weapons. It's not like give us free weapons and protect us. No, they wanna keep their country sovereign. But that's not what we are doing. They signed a contract 3 years ago for the weapons. They still didn't deliver any of weapons from US. We really have to move fast. That's exactly what Ukraine asked. That's exactly what we saw Ukraine, that when Russian troops were lined up, why we waited until that things happened. It's so heartbreaking to watch. We should not repeat that same history again. Means we really have to protect Taiwan. That's the #1 priority. And give them weapons, sell them weapons, and deliver them weapons. That's really what we have to do.
Yes.
So Putin or Xi they're both murderous thugs. That's what they are. Whether we want to all like it or not, that's who they are. And we got to take them at their word. I mean, Putin said he was going to invade in Ukraine. And we sat there and, like Congresswoman said, we didn't give them the weapons.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's going to cost us more, and how many people have lost their lives? Okay? So here's what we have to do with China. They want to destroy us. Right? It's not the people, it's their government. They want to destroy us. So first off, we gotta start with ourselves. Don't ever buy another product made in Communist China. Just don't. Stop right now. Don't buy one more product made in Communist China. Okay, don't do business with Communist China, because here's what's gonna happen. When they invade, they've said they're gonna invade, right? When they invade, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna be able to do the same thing? Hey, look, we're not worried about Russian vodka. All right, we don't need their oil. We can be self-sufficient. If we don't separate ourselves and decouple ourselves from China, we're gonna be the fools. And so that's what we have to do. And look, they've already done it. They've already took over Hong Kong. They kill. Like, I know a guy that he just lost his mom, a Falun Gong member. She was murdered by Xi because she's a Falun Gong member. You got 1 million Uyghurs in prison. Where do we stop? Right? We know what's going on in Ukraine. It's happening in China. It's just happening differently. So we got to stop doing business with them.
In addition to everything Senator Scott mentioned, as well as Michelle, this is an area that I've been working on very, very closely since I've been in Congress. I serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee. The invasion by Russia in Ukraine didn't have to happen this way. If we had a president that was strong and didn't show the weakness, but that's what we did exactly in August of 2021. When we saw the botched withdrawal in Afghanistan, we showed weakness in the world and showed that the United States does not have the leadership that can lead in the globe. And exactly what happened. We knew through the intelligence reports and information that was provided to our committee members and to the members of Congress through regular briefing sessions, we knew Russia was going to invade Ukraine. We've been telling the Biden administration to be prepared for it. Michelle and I and some other members of Congress, led by Kevin McCarthy, were in Israel on February 24 when Russia invaded Ukraine. I was one of those that was on the phone with the White House, getting a report on what's going on. And that same day, during the day, Secretary Yellen of the Treasury Department claimed that we put in strongest sanction against Russia for the aggression that they just committed. I was on the phone, one of the first members to ask a question. Why don't we put Russia with the strongest SWIFT financial sanctions ever? They said, you know what the Secretary Yellen said and the Biden administration said was, well, we think the sanctions that we put in place today is strong enough, so let's wait and see 30 days later. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we knew what happened. The invasion was occurring, people were already getting hurt, and we don't have 30 days. This is what happened. Eventually, we pushed the Biden administration to the point where they have to come out with the sanctions, but never late. What is the word there? Better late than never. Yeah. But in this case, we needed to be prepared, as Michelle said, and as Senator Scott said. So what we're doing is we are watching. We're providing with the military weapons that President Zelensky is asking. Ukrainians are asking for no-fly zone, but Ukraine is not a member of NATO. So we have to do what we can to provide them, equip them with the tools they need to protect themselves and fight for their freedom and defend themselves. That's what they're doing. So the least we can do is provide them with the military weapons, but at the same time we need to launch the humanitarian airlift operation to provide them with the humanitarian assistance they need, because Biden administration has the humanitarian assistance that is going through the ground transportation. Look what happened. We've seen it every single day, how Russia is blocking the ground transportation. So that's why we're asking this Biden administration to coordinate with our NATO allies to put together an airlift operation, and we're asking countries like India, our allies, like Germany, the countries that are considered non-combat allies. So if something should happen and Russia, identifies our aircraft flown by our Indian pilots, for example, they cannot shut that down. If they do, we're ready, because they're invading one of our NATO countries. all right? So we can invoke the Article 15 and we can do what we need to do. But to do all this, in the middle of the whole operation going on, we were given the information that China, Xi Jinping, is aiding Russia. So I introduced a legislation called the Dictator Act. We're going to do a direct investigation on China to see how they are skirting around the sanctions that we put in place and evade the sanctions that we put in place. So we're telling them, we're watching you. We're doing direct investigation on you. And we're telling our allies to make sure that we put in the strongest sanctions on individuals, entities that are skirting around and helping Russia. We need to do all this. Again, I also introduced the Uyghur Policy Act to ensure that our State Department, Department of Homeland Security, they have a policy to counter China's ongoing torture of our Uyghur population, the minority population. This is an ongoing thing. We need to pay attention to what's going on and how the United States is responding to the Ukraine crisis right now, because Xi Jinping is watching how we respond. Ayatollah is watching how we respond. Kim Jong-un is watching. We want to make sure that there is peace on the Korean Peninsula. There is no more attack, Middle East or anywhere else. So we need to show strength. We need to be prepared so that we can make sure that allies can trust us and our enemies are scared of us. And that's what we're working on right now.
Thank you. You have 30 seconds and then they've got to go.
One thing I wanted to add is, little Saigon are concerned with China. China has been wanting to invade Sparty Island and Paracel Island for years. We are watching, and we're asking our congressmen and our senators to please watch and help us in Vietnam, because we have families and friends over there that wants to make sure that Sparty Island and also Paracel Island stays remain as with Vietnam.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. These are just great representatives of our community. They'll be here for about another, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Sorry.
I was trying to negotiate for you, really, I was. So,
We'll give you 7. We'll give you 7.
all right, we'll get 7. So please thank them for all their service, and thank you for everything you do on to victory in 2022.
It's Medal of Freedom. And the senator will be coming back out. So this what does it say?
Vâng, thưa với lại quý vị khán giả, quý vị vừa mới coi xong một cái chương trình phóng sự của William Trust Media Network của Nam Quang về cái buổi về thượng nghị sĩ Rick Scott của Florida đó quý vị. Đây là thượng nghị sĩ liên bang nha quý vị nha. Toàn nước Mỹ chỉ có 100 thượng nghị sĩ thôi, mỗi một tiểu bang được quyền đại diện là 2 thượng nghị sĩ, cho nên tiểu bang Florida có 2 ông thượng nghị sĩ. Ông Rick Scott là ông quý vị vừa mới thấy, và ông còn lại là ông Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio là một trong những ứng cử viên của tổng thống vào cái thời mà tổng thống Donald Trump running đó thưa quý vị, nhưng mà ông thua. Kỳ đó có ông Ted Cruz cũng run với lại Donald Trump, ông Jeb Bush, em trai của cựu tổng thống George W. Bush, thì tổng thống Donald Trump là người đứng đầu, thành ra ông ra tranh cử với lại bà Hillary Clinton và ông thắng. Thì thưa quý vị, thì hiện giờ ở phía trên màn ảnh là những người thuộc đảng Cộng hòa tham gia vào trong cái buổi nói chuyện ngày hôm nay của thượng nghị sĩ Rick Scott, tới để ủng hộ cho dân biểu tiểu bang Michelle Steele và John Kim thưa quý vị. Thì rất là vui. Đây là một cái văn phòng, đây là cái văn phòng tranh cử của thật sự ra nếu mà nói văn phòng tranh cử cũng không có đúng, nhưng mà cái đây là cái văn phòng của đảng Cộng hòa liên bang ở khu vực Little Saigon. Thì nếu như mà quý vị sau này quý vị có những cái chuyện gì mà nó liên quan đến Cộng hòa, quý vị muốn đăng ký đi bầu thì quý vị ghi danh đi bầu đó quý vị, thì quý vị tới cái văn phòng INC của đảng Cộng hòa ở đây, ở trong cái khu để nó quay cho quý vị coi nha, trong cái khu đối diện với lại chợ đây, đổi angle thì quý vị thấy ở phía sau là cái khu phở 54 ở ngay đường Brookhurst và đường McFadden đó thưa quý vị. Ở phía bên kia đường quý vị thấy đó là chợ Saigon City Market thưa quý vị. Thì nếu mà quý vị quý bà con cô bác đồng hương của chúng ta, các cô các bác đó mà có nhu cầu ghi danh đi bầu giống như những cái lần trước mà Nam Quang với lại các anh chị em thiện nguyện viên tới ghi danh đi bầu, hoặc là để mấy cái bàn ở phía bên ngoài chợ ABC, hoặc là ở phía khu Phước Lộc Thọ, hoặc là ở trước Hủ Tiếu Thanh Xuân đó thưa quý vị. Thì đó là những cái nơi mà chúng tôi nhận ghi danh cho các cô bác anh chị em chưa có ghi danh đi bầu cử. Thì cái lần trước, cái lần mà cái cuộc bầu cử vừa rồi tháng 11 năm 2020 đó quý vị, thì tại vì mọi người đi ra ủng hộ cho Tổng thống Donald Trump rất là đông, cho nên là cái lượng ghi danh đi bầu của người Việt Nam của mình là chiếm một cái tỷ lệ rất là cao quý vị. Người ta có nói là nếu như mà không có cái gọi là cái lực lượng của người Việt Nam của mình trong cái lần vừa rồi thì có thể là bà Michelle Steele với lại John Kim không có thắng được, là tại vì thực sự ra quý vị ở Orange County này cái người Việt Nam của chúng ta là chiếm tới mấy trăm ngàn người thưa quý vị, ở khu vực Nam California đó, cho nên là cái power, cái sức mạnh của lá phiếu của cộng đồng của Việt Nam chúng ta là không thể dòng chính Hoa Kỳ những chính trị gia của Hoa Kỳ họ không thể nào mà họ thờ ơ được, tại vì chúng ta là cái lực lượng mà quyết định họ thắng hay thua thưa quý vị. Chúng ta là cái lực lượng quyết định họ thắng hay thua. Thành ra là hiện giờ dòng chính Hoa Kỳ, những chính trị gia dòng chính Hoa Kỳ họ rất là quan tâm đến cộng đồng Việt Nam của chúng ta, và chúng ta không thể nào để cái sức mạnh chính trị của chúng ta nó go into a waste, là nó bị phí phạm được quý vị. Chúng ta phải dùng cái sức mạnh đó để mà chúng ta làm gì thưa quý vị? Chúng ta phải dùng cái sức mạnh đó để mà chúng ta chuyển những cái mong muốn, cái ước muốn của chúng ta thành ra luật lệ để nó phục vụ cho cộng đồng Việt Nam của chúng ta thưa quý vị. Và chúng ta cũng có thể là gây sức ép với lại cộng đồng của chúng ta, vận động Quốc hội Hoa Kỳ, vận động những dân biểu để mà gây sức ép với nhà cầm quyền cộng sản. Những cái chính sách của Hoa Kỳ cũng từ những người dân biểu, những người làm luật giống như bà Michelle Steele thưa quý vị. Thì đó là cái mà Nam Quang muốn nhắn gửi đến quý vị. Còn đây là cái hình ảnh của bà Michelle Steele đang chụp hình với lại những người ủng hộ. Đó, Nam Quang quay lại những cái này cho quý vị nhìn thấy cho nó rõ. Can you do me a favor? Take a picture. Young Kim and Michelle.
The pictures. Okay, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Can I have a picture with the two warriors? Two warriors. Vâng, thưa quý vị, Nam Quang vừa mới đứng vào để chụp hình với lại hai dân cử liên bang là bà John Kim và bà Michelle Steele. Let me have a picture with the senator. Sure. When I'm done with that.
What's happening?
Can I have a member of the
Sorry.
Okay, I hold you accountable for
Yes,
that.
you're the last one. You're the last one. It's up to where the senators
He's got 1 minute.
I don't know, it's going.
It's the only form of American that's never been defeated. To show that it's a right. I was just
Love to you. Thank you.
How's it going?
Get us home, you know? Yeah, absolutely. I got your sign from my office and my house.
Yeah, somebody likes to do anyway.
Ok, vâng thưa quý vị, Nam Quang cũng sẽ phỏng vấn bà Yeon Kim. Ok, một số những cái vấn đề hiện giờ nó đang xảy ra như quý vị. Mình chờ chút xíu.
You must be with a radio TV station, Vietnamese.
Yeah, the Vietnamese. Michelle, can I have a
picture you and I don't think we're gonna take a picture together.
Okay. This. Sorry. Oh, how come? Okay. Yeah, you look beautiful. Vâng thưa quý vị khán giả, Nam Quang lại có mặt ở đây với bà Michelle Steele, là dân biểu liên bang Hoa Kỳ đại diện cho một trong những địa hạt ở California. Thì Nam Quang muốn hỏi bà một số những câu hỏi về cái tầm quan trọng của của cái lá phiếu của cử tri gốc Việt ở đây thưa quý vị. Michelle, I've been talking to my viewer, the community, Vietnamese community, about the importance of the Vietnamese vote, the power of the vote. So, what do you think about that?
You know what? This election is very, very important because you already saw last year Afghanistan. That reminds me, that pullout from Afghanistan reminds me of the 1975 Vietnam. We should not repeat this history without any planning without any schedule that what we are going to do and how we're going to protect people first, and then you pull out. That's what we saw. So if you choose wrong congressman this year, you know what? Those bad history repeats over and over. We really have to stop that. I know I've been fighting against communism. I've been fighting against China, CCP, and I've been fighting against all these human rights violations, on Vietnamese government, that what they are actually doing and what Chinese government is doing. We really have to do that. Another thing is good news. I actually introduced a bill to change the postal office to name change to General Hong Tran. So hopefully that's gonna come out soon. So you know what? I'm working with the Vietnamese American community for the last how many years, and I love Vietnamese American community.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle, for the good news that you just told me. Thưa quý vị, bà có nói đến cái vấn đề là nếu như mà chúng ta mà chọn sai cái người congressman là cái người dân cử đó, quý vị, dân biểu vô trong Hạ viện thì là nó sẽ tạo ra những cái sai lầm rất là lớn. Cũng giống như bà có nói về vấn đề Afghanistan, là khi mà mình không có bảo vệ mọi người mà mình rút quân ra đó thì là tất cả mọi chuyện nó sẽ bị nó thành ra thảm họa, thưa quý vị, giống như là cái vừa rồi mà ông Joe Biden ông rút quân ở Afghanistan đó, thưa quý vị. Và bà cũng cảm ơn cộng đồng người Việt của mình, cũng giống như là bà đưa ra, bà vừa mới báo cho một cái thông tin, cái này gửi đến cộng đồng người Việt Nam ở Westminster nha, the Westminster community, là một cái good news, là cái bưu điện mà chúng ta hay tới để mà chúng ta gửi đồ ở ngay ở trên đường Bolsa, thì bà Michelle Steele đã đưa ra một cái gọi là một cái request, cái dự luật là để mà đổi cái tên cái bưu điện đó thành ra là cái bưu điện tên là Trần Hưng Đạo, như quý vị nha. That's a good news. I just told them about the news that you.
So we are changing it. I need just 2 more Democrats to sign on to it, and I'm working really hard on that.
All right. So you get Young Kim right here.
Oh, Young Kim's been, you know what, she's my little sister. She's been with me, and I'm so happy, and I'm so happy that Senator came out to support us. I mean, this is really making history here.
Right.
And they all know how important Vietnamese American community is. We all...
Yeah, I just told the people that are listening, this is very important. You know, that's why Mr. Rick Scott, Senator Rick Scott, came out here,
Yeah.
because he knows the importance of, keeping the seat, your seat in Congress.
Exactly.
So that's what we Republican doing right now.
Yes, we're gonna win.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
gonna win.
Yeah,
Thank
you're gonna
you.
win. Bye, Michelle. Thank you. Vâng, thưa quý vị, Nam Quang sẽ nói chuyện với lại bà Young Kim một chút xíu. Can I have a minute? Okay, just go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, we are talking to the Trust Media Network, the Vietnamese community news. Okay, Miss Young Kim, we heard you talk about Ukraine and how we going to prevent something like that from happening before it happens.
Sure.
So what you gonna do in the future about that?
Sure. I've been calling on this Biden administration to show leadership and be prepared and help our allies be better equipped with the military weapons and any resources that they are asking from the United States. We need to be able to provide them. For example, we're talking about Taiwan. With the situation in Ukraine, Xi Jinping is eyeing Taiwan. There is no ifs and buts about it. So Taiwan has been prepping up their defense budget for about 30% more than what they already had, and they are willing to increase more. They have asked the United States to provide them with the aircraft, F-15, F-35, and anything else that they need to prepare themselves to be militarily strong to counter any type of aggression from China. We need to be able to provide them with them, sell them the weapons that they're asking. Now, unfortunately, anything that United States had, it's been diverted to support Ukraine. So we don't even have anything to sell to Taiwan. So what we need right now is to rebuild or build up our own resources. So we need to develop more manufacturing and preparing our defense system here first, and then we can help our allies at the same time. Also, we need to be mindful of China, Xi Jinping, Chinese Communist Party, continuing to disregard the human rights of its own people, Uyghur population, Taiwanese people, the Hong Kongers, and anyone from the minority communities. We need to call them out for the genocide, the human rights violation that are occurring. Any type of those things, we cannot just let them think that they can get away with it because we have shown leadership, shown weak leadership in the world. So I am saying we need to show united front in making sure that our allies can trust us once again, that we have the leadership, that we can protect them when they need our help. And we need to show a strong message, sending them to our adversaries like Iran, like Ayatollah, like Kim Jong-un. We need to tell them that we are strong, we can lead, you need to fear us. And we want to make sure that our friends respect us.
One last question for you. You think that the war between Ukraine and Russia right now is the lesson for Xi Jinping or any big country that have the idea of invading, smaller countries?
Well, definitely Xi Jinping is watching how United States is responding to this crisis. We showed weakness from the very beginning. We have a President, Biden, who said, sending a mixed message, that a little bit of an invasion is okay.
Yeah.
And then when they do, we're going to put in a sanction. That's a little too late.
Yeah.
We need to be prepared and send a stronger message now. So how we respond and get out of this Ukraine crisis will be a message that we'll be sending to Xi Jinping. So that's why I keep saying, we need to be strong right now. Show united front that United States can lead once again in the world. So Xi Jinping doesn't think twice about attacking Taiwan or any of our friends in the other countries. So again, we have lost that. Our freedom has been eroded. We have a public safety, national security crisis under this administration. In the last short 14 months, we have border security crisis. And this administration is not doing anything about it. I have gone down to the border 3 times since I've been in office. I've seen it for myself. There is at the Del Rio sector in southern Texas, there's $24 million worth of revenue being generated from the human trafficking alone. This is something that the Border Patrol agents told me and my delegation. Human trafficking is a huge problem. The illicit activities like drug trafficking coming over, fentanyl, it's #1 cause of death in Americans ages 18 to 45. We need to get a handle on this. That's why I introduced the Southern Border Strategy Act, to let the Department of Homeland Security come up with a border strategy to deal with the crisis at the southern border. According to the federal law, we have a northern border strategy, but 0 at the southern border. Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, has not gone down to the border once. 0.
Right.
When this freshman has gone down there 3 times already and seen it for myself. So we need to show leadership also dealing with the border crisis, economic crisis, the inflation that is continuing to go up because we're not getting a handle on this. Yet this Biden administration wants to spend. That will increase inflation, raise taxes, the gas prices that's going up. It's nothing new for Californians because we've always had higher gas prices going up because of the failed policy coming out of Sacramento. Nancy Pelosi wants to make Sacramento the new federal normal. We have to stop that. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to have a lot of work to do too. Okay, I'm telling you that I have a last question, but okay, this is my last question. Yeah, I've been telling my audience that the importance of get out to vote and register to vote, and we have to support the voice of the Asian American in the Congress. So what do you think about that?
Oh, it's very, very important. Obviously, those of us who are running on the front line as campaigners, we couldn't do what we do without the support from the community coming together, understanding that if there is an injustice out there, don't just sit there and complain. We need to get out there, register to vote, and exercise our right to vote, and vote for the right people that think like us, fighting for freedom. We're fighting for American dream, which I see every single day is eroding. But we have to fight this, and we can fight this. We need to do this for not only our generation, not only our children's generation, but for the future generation. We have a lot of work to do. One vote will make a difference.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Junkie. Vâng, thưa với lại quý vị khán giả thì Nam Quang cũng vừa mới nói chuyện với lại bà John Kim, cũng là một dân cử của California, mà đây là thưa quý vị trong 2 người dân cử của California đó thưa quý vị, dân biểu đó nha, là dân biểu là bà John Kim và bà Michelle là 2 người gốc Korean, gốc Triều Tiên, gốc Hàn Quốc đó thưa quý vị. Thì đây là 2 cái ghế quan trọng nhất mà người Cộng hòa đã flip, là coi như là hồi đó cái ghế này là cái ghế do 2 dân biểu của đảng Dân Chủ nắm, nhưng mà vì cái gọi là cái sức mạnh chính trị của lá phiếu của người Việt Nam đã giúp cho bà John Kim và bà Michelle Steele đã văng 2 ứng cử viên đảng Dân Chủ ra để mà đưa người Cộng hòa vô trong Quốc hội Hoa Kỳ thưa quý vị. Đó là cái tầm quan trọng đó quý vị. Thành ra bởi vậy là bà Michelle Steele và bà John Kim bà thấy được cái tầm quan trọng của cái lá phiếu của người Việt Nam của chúng ta, thành ra là họ rất là chăm sóc cộng đồng của chúng ta. Thành ra chúng ta ngay cả người ngoài cộng đồng họ đã biết được cái tầm quan trọng của chúng ta rồi, thì chúng ta làm sao mà chúng ta không biết cái tầm quan trọng của cái lá phiếu của chúng ta được quý vị. Đó là cái chuyện mà Nam Quang muốn gửi đến quý vị, Nam Quang muốn nhắn gửi đến quý vị là chúng ta phải ghi danh đi bầu, chúng ta phải ghi danh đi bầu và chúng ta phải đi bầu. Mỗi một lá phiếu rất là quan trọng, bà John Kim đã nói như vậy. Và bà có nói thêm một chút xíu nữa về vấn đề là chúng ta phải tại vì hiện giờ chúng ta đã bỏ hết vũ khí rồi, Hoa Kỳ đó đã dồn hết vũ khí đạn dược qua bên chiến trường của Ukraine, cho nên là hiện giờ nếu như mà có một cái vấn đề gì nó xảy ra ở một cái lãnh thổ nào đó mà là của những người của những nước mà ally của chúng ta đó thưa quý vị, là những nước ở trong những nước liên minh với chúng ta đó, thì chẳng hạn giống như Đài Loan thì chúng ta không có đủ đạn dược để mà chúng ta cung cấp cho Đài Loan nữa. Cho nên hiện giờ cái vấn đề chính là phải tăng cường sản xuất để mà bù đắp lại cái kho đạn dược, cái kho vũ khí mà chúng ta đang có. Tại vì bà nói là hiện giờ Đài Loan họ muốn bỏ tiền ra họ mua. Bà John Kim nói là giờ Đài Loan muốn bỏ tiền ra mua mà không có vũ khí để bán cho họ. Tại vì giờ vũ khí mình đem mình cho nhiều người quá rồi, mình cho nhiều nước nó đang cần quá rồi, cho nên là hiện giờ là Đài Loan nó có tiền như quý vị nha. Đài Loan họ có tiền, họ bỏ tiền ra để họ mua vũ khí của Hoa Kỳ, nhưng mà Hoa Kỳ không có để bán, hoặc là có một phần Hoa Kỳ là bị Trung Quốc chặn lại cái administration của ông Biden đó thưa quý vị quá yếu kém đi, cho nên là khi mà Trung Quốc nó lên tiếng nó ngăn cản những cái thương vụ buôn bán vũ khí với Đài Loan thì họ không có dám buôn bán. Trong khi là dưới thời của tổng thống Donald Trump thì ông ta upgrade với lại ông ta bán mấy cái chiếc máy bay F-16 của Hoa Kỳ cho Đài Loan thưa quý vị. Đó, còn cái chính phủ của tổng thống Biden thì quá yếu kém, lúc nào cũng sợ Trung Quốc hết. Nhưng mà thì Nam Quang có nói về vấn đề là có hỏi bà là về Taiwan như thế nào đó, thì bà nói là đúng vậy, là phải trang bị vũ khí cho Đài Loan. Đài Loan họ không có giống như Ukraine. Hiện giờ là chính phủ Hoa Kỳ là viện trợ vũ khí cho Ukraine, là không có hoàn tiền lại đó thưa quý vị, coi như là cho vũ khí cho Ukraine, trong khi là Đài Loan là họ có tiền để họ trả cho những cái vũ khí mà họ cần đó thưa quý vị, họ muốn mua. Cho nên đó là cái tầm quan trọng của chuyện là Hoa Kỳ sắp tới là phải sản xuất để mà làm cho cái kho vũ khí nó đầy lên để chuẩn bị cho những cái sự kiện nào đó mà nó dẫn đến nó cần đến bảo vệ cho tự do dân chủ của những cái nước đồng minh của Hoa Kỳ thưa quý vị. Thì một lần nữa xin cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi chương trình của Nam Quang William Trust Media Network. Hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong cái chương trình sắp tới, có thể là một trong những cái chương trình của Nam Quang với Tiến Dũng, nếu mà Tiến Dũng không có quá bận. Tại hồi nãy Nam Quang có nói chuyện với Tiến Dũng rồi, thì Tiến Dũng nói có thể là chiều nay hai anh em sẽ ngồi lại với nhau để làm một cái chương trình để mà hậu chuyện cùng quý vị. Rất là cảm ơn quý vị trong cái thời gian qua đã ủng hộ cho kênh Trust Media Network, vẫn tiến mạnh nha quý vị nha. Vẫn hàng ngày vẫn có những quý vị khán giả yêu thích chương trình của William Trust Media Network để mà ghi danh, subscribe. Thì quý vị đang nghe, nếu mà chưa có subscribe thì bấm cái nút subscribe màu đỏ ở phía bên tay phải của quý vị, ở phía bên dưới đó ra, rồi xong rồi có comment gì đó thì cứ bỏ vô để mà cho Nam Quang biết cái quý vị nghĩ gì nha. Thì Nam Quang sẽ tranh thủ, nếu như mà có thời gian sẽ trả lời cho quý vị.